Welcome back to the arcade. Well, today I got a package in the mail, and this package is from Arcade Jason. And I'm sure some of you, if you've been following his projects, you'll notice it's got a stencil of a Abrams tank on here. So you can probably guess what's in the box, okay? So let's go ahead and open it up here. And let's see. Well, they usually had a place where you could open them, but I guess wherever. Let's try this end right here. And let's find out what's in the box. It's no secret. This is one of his newest. Whoa, what do we got here? Laffy Taffy. Laffy Taffy Grape. Laffy Taffy Strawberry. Icebreakers Mints. Payday. Twizzlers. King size Payday. Key lime pie Kit Kats. Planters honey roasted peanuts. Mint plus dark chocolate Kit Kats. Hot tamales. Toffee Fay. Never seen those. I know about the company. Kit Kat Big Cat. I don't think I've ever seen one of them either. I know it doesn't look like it, but I tend to try to stay away from the candy aisle. But Breath Savers. Jason, are you trying to tell me something? Another Kit Kat Big Cat. A score. Boy. All right, what else we got here? Oh, finally, a PC board. Okay. This is a blank deflection board for Electrohome G08 monitor, vector monitor. I have a deflection board that, an original deflection board where one of the corners broke off of it, but it's still got the custom IC and all the other parts are populated on it. So I'm going to see if the custom IC is good on it. I'm going to use this. I'm going to build this board up and see if I can take that broken board and make a deflection board out of it. So, okay, that's one thing I had on the list. And that's something wrapped up. Wonder what that is. Looks like butcher's paper. I don't reckon this rack of ribs. Let's see what else we got in here. Okay, I think all this is just packing. All right, so that's everything in the box. Wow. That puts Bob Roberts' moon pies to shame. But I enjoyed the moon pies too, so I'm sure I'll enjoy these. So thank you much, Jason, and your wife, Kelly. Let's see what we got here in the butcher's wrap here. well, it's red. Redzone. All right, let me slide my booty over here. I don't know. Let's see if this will fit into shot. This is Arcade Jason's Redzone. I missed out on the first run, but I was lucky enough to get in on the second run. What this is, well, you know, I'm not 100% sure exactly what it is. I'm sure it's an emulation, but I'm not familiar with this device right here. It doesn't look like a Raspberry Pi. Maybe it's, I'm sure it's some type of, I don't know. Is it a, I guess it's a processor of some sort, but I'm not familiar with this newfangled stuff. But what I do know is it replaces an Atari Battlezone board or an Atari Red Baron board. It's a direct replacement because you can take the boards out of the cabinet, and these are set up. This would be what the auxiliary board would be, and this would be the main board, and they go in the cabinet like this, and the two harnesses plug into it right here. Now this auxiliary board is nothing but a board to pass through to the cable here. Obviously, there's no components on this. This is just to make it plug and play and make it go in the cabinet in the same place where the original boards would go. And of course, it has a cable between the two boards on the original board. And this, of course, is a replacement for the original board. Now, I guess it's an emulation or half emulation, because most, like a MAME emulation, will take the code for the game, emulate it on an IBM computer or compatible computer, and outputs it on a computer screen, or I guess you can have a converter card, that video card that would output it to RGB for a raster monitor. Even though Red Baron and Battlezone are not raster games, they're vector games, but the MAME emulation has to output for a regular raster monitor, and you know, you can play the games. But what this board does is it runs, I'm pretty sure the original game code it's had to be modified a little bit, I'm sure, and what it has a vector output. So instead of raster output, this outputs analog XY signals, XYZ signals, that goes directly into the vector monitor in the game board. So it's actually, I guess you could call it a hybrid. I might be wrong about this, but in my mind, this is a hybrid. It's sort of half MAME and half original game output, or however you want to call it. Now, thing about this is it not only has Battlezone and Red Baron, it's also got a new game, which is Battlezone 2, which was actually made for a raster monitor. But Arcade Jason designed the hardware, and I believe his name is Ralph Kornman. He's the one that did the programming that had to make the changes, and he made the changes, I'm sure, on Battlezone 2 from the raster output, so it outputs on the vector monitor. Also, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is supposed to have another game, Omaga Race, which is also another vector game. And I believe in the future it's a possibility that they could add some vector games to this. And I also hear that I don't know whether this particular board has the capability or if it's going to be some type of an add-on or whatever. I'm sure Jason will come up with it later. In the future, you're supposed to be able to even have color vector monitor support. Now, what exactly that means, will it be true vector monitor support, like will you be able to put a true color vector game program in here and it'll be exactly like the original? Or would it be more like the what Jason did with the Vectrex, which he just added color, and the color is kind of not programmed directly on the objects, but it's sort of random, but it still puts color into it. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I got this because I've always wanted a Battlezone, and it took me 20 plus years to get my Red Baron. And those games in my area anyway are just hard to find, and if you do find them nowadays, they're expensive, and they're usually far enough off to where shipping is almost as much as the game. So this will be a good addition to my Red Baron. Of course, I won't be able to run my original board in the Red Baron when I'm running this, but I have the ability to switch back and forth if I want to. Plus, while I'm using this board, I'm saving wear and tear on my original Red Baron board, and I get the ability to play these other games. I'll be able to play Battlezone, be it I'll still have the one analog stick instead of the cool two sticks like Battlezone has, but I think it'll be okay. We're going to give it a go. And Omaga Race, that might be a little tricky with a joystick, but it's nothing you can't get used to. So, and I think this even has, in the future, will have support for a spinner. So like Omaga Race, you can actually put a spinner. So what I might do in the future, if I like this board, which I'm pretty sure I will, but we'll have to test it out and see how it is. I may put together a cabinet with a vector monitor in it, and I may set this one up like a Battlezone. Who knows? Or I may have if you can do a multi-control panel. I don't know if you can. It might be set up to where you either have to have a Red Baron control panel or a Battlezone control panel. I don't know if you can have both on the same control panel or not, but that's something to look into for the future. Maybe it's possible, maybe it's not. The only thing I need is an SD card, and the only one I could find that I'm not using is this one right here, and I think this is a micro SD, or is it? I'll have to look and see. If it is, I can use this. I got this off of eBay a while back, and it's supposed to be a 32 gigabyte micro SD card. And it came in a factory looking package and it looked legit, but this is a counterfeit. and it was not 32 gigabyte. I think it turned out to be something like 2 gigabyte or maybe 4 gigabyte. And somehow they had made the directory look like it was a 32 gigabyte. So this may not work. I don't know. I'll try it and see. If not, I'm going to have to go to the store and get one. But I'm going to try this first. It can't hurt nothing. It did come with a one-page instruction sheet. So, yeah, it has a SD card slot. And the SD card slot is right here. So it is a micro SD. That goes right here. So, which way does it go? I think the fingers will always goes down towards the board. So let's see if we can put this in. Is that it? It just hangs out like that. I'm used to the ones where you have to click it in and click it to come out. Well, that's got to be right. Okay. Let's read through the instructions here. Installation instructions for the Redzone. What does the Redzone PC board do? The Redzone plugs directly into any Red Baron or Battlezone arcade machine and allows it to play Red Baron, Battlezone, Battlezone 2, and Omaga Race. More games will likely be available in the future. Okay, I was right about that. Plug your Redzone PC board into any Red Baron or Battlezone arcade machine. With a small Phillips screwdriver, adjust screen size and position so the box fills the screen, then press your fire button so the PC board can detect which type of cabinet you are using. Insert a blank SD card to save menu settings and high score data. I don't know if mine is blank. Well, we'll see. Like I say, I might have to go get one. Okay, how do I enter the main menu? Turn on the test switch behind the coin door and push the fire and start buttons at the same time. How do I cycle through different games? Press and hold fire and start at the same time. Games can be added or removed from rotation in the main menu. Okay. And there's the Y position pot, X position pot, X size pot, Y size pot, and the X size pot. That's for adjusting the screen. All XY games, you have those pots and you have to adjust it to your monitor. Okay, over here you have the USB spinner support. So it's got a USB port for a spinner. It's got a network support, and it's got an expansion port. Okay, upgrades. Yes, there will be upgrades in the future, including color output, USB spinner support for Omaga Race, network support, rumble motor support, light controller support, additional games, and more. Rumble motor support. That's interesting because he makes a rumble motor that goes in the yoke of a Star Wars controller to give you rumble in the controller. So I wonder if that means maybe you'll be able to add Star Wars to something like this in the future. Interesting. Or maybe they'll come out with a Star Wars version. Time will tell. Okay, so what do we do now? Well, first let's fire up the Red Baron and make sure it still works. It's been about a week or so since I turned it on. And once we know that the game is functioning, then I'll take the back off the game. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to take my board out of the game. I'm just going to find something to put this on to support it and just hook the cables up to it. And we're just going to, right now, just test it out. I'm not going to actually install it in the cabinet. But we're going to be able to try it out and play it and see if it lives up to the hype, which I'm very confident it will. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's turn the game on. And let's go see if it's coming up. And okay, Red Baron is coming up. Let's put a token in. Hit the start button. Okay, the game is working. That's all I needed to know. So let's cut it off and let's open the back door. Okay, let's see if I can use this same piece of foam board I had in here when I was working on the Red Baron board. If you want to see that video, I'll try to put a link up here where I was repairing my Red Baron. And let's see, we're just going to have to see how this is going to fit. All right, this is the auxiliary board. So this one goes on this way. And here's the main board. I don't know if this is going to work that way. I might have to do it this way. Okay, we're just going to let it swing in the air for the time being. That'll work. Okay. All right, well, let me take you around the front and set you up, and we'll fire it up and let's see what happens. Okay, Redzone, first time setup. Press fire to continue. Well, first we need to make some changes and align that box. So, let me go see if I can do that. All right, I'm going to see if I can peek around the side of the cabinet here and look at my screen on my camera, because I'm behind the cabinet here. I might be able to do it that way. So let's see. All right, looks like to me the width is okay, but the vertical to centering. So I need the, let's see, that would be the Y position. Okay, let's try the Y position first. Nope, that's not it. Let's try the X position. Okay, that's not what we want. Let's try the X size. I think these are labeled backwards, because that one I just moved, it seemed to move the position, and that was labeled X size. The one above it is X position, but that moved to X size. So I think the instructions are a little backwards there, but that's okay. We figured it out. All right, let me get around here and let's see. Need the height a little more. X height, which is this one here. Now move the position up a little bit. Let's see how that is. It's hard to see on the little viewfinder of the camera, but lovely. I think that's going to be perfect. Okay. Now, let's see what it says. Well, it says it right on the screen here. Press fire to continue. All right, fire is the button on top of the joystick. Okay, we have Red Baron. But it appears to be in German or some other language. I think that's German. All right, we'll have to go into the setup. All right, let's see. How do I enter the main menu? Turn on the test switch behind the coin door and push the fire start button at the same time. Let me get my flashlight so I can find the button, test button. All right. Well, that brought up the test pattern. All right, now see Red Baron in test mode. This is supposed to be the joystick inputs. One is working, one is not. Up and down is working, right and left is not. So evidently it still thinks it's in a Battlezone cabinet. I just don't know how to change that. Well, I made a video of the problem I was having with the Redzone board, and I sent it to Arcade Jason, and he looked at the video and he was able to determine from what the board was doing what the problem was. And it's just a real simple thing. It turns out if this is the fix, it was just a slight little oversight. He sent me a picture here of the boards of what I have to do. It's just one little jumper was left off of one of the boards. So let me show you real quick right here. On this board right here, which is the replacement for the auxiliary board, you have this 40-pin, I think it's a 40-pin connector here that connects the two boards. Okay. If you're looking right here, count up 7 pins and you can see right there, it's a solder bridge that connects these two pins together. Okay, well, over on the other board, should be the same thing. If we count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the solder bridge was left off of this. I put a little dot right here beside the one where I have to put a solder bridge. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to get the soldering iron out, and because it's got a trace going underneath it, the mask would probably shield it, but I think I'm just going to put a little jumper wire across the two rather than put a glob of solder across it. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, for this I'm just going to use some of this, I guess they call this hookup wire. It's the insulated thin wire that you use to make connections on PC boards. I got some red somewhere. This is the blue. Got this years ago at Radio Shack. Roll of this stuff will last you forever unless you do a whole lot of board repair. Whoops, I just unrolled it. Ain't the first time. And actually, I don't need the insulation on it if I leave it raised up above. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this off, try to get the insulation off of a piece. All right, get my razor knife out here. It's not always easy to strip this stuff. All right. Get the roll, and that way I'll be able to grab onto it easier. There we go. Now I'm just going to take a little solder here. See if I can zoom in on this and get it in focus. Okay, we'll see if that holds. I'm just going to add some solder to both sides. And I'm going to add some solder to the wire. Kind of tin it. We're going to stay in focus. Maybe I'll back it up just a little bit. Don't like that. All right, we'll go with that. So probably ain't gonna stay in focus. Alright, take my razor knife, cut it off. I think that'll do. Now we can try it out again. Crossing my fingers again. It's got to work this time. I know it does. Okay. We have Red Baron in English. All right. Let's put it in test mode. Up and down's working. Right and left is working now. Woohoo! All right. This number right here is up and down, and this is right and left. That's the two pots in the joystick. It's an analog joystick. Now let's see. Let me make sure I got this lined up here. All right, let's put a credit in. See if we can play Red Baron. Yes, Red Baron is working. I got right and left and up and down. Okay, I'm just going to go quickly through the games right now. This is Battlezone 2. And it's set on free play. I thought I changed that. Maybe it's only... No, I didn't change that. That's right.
Welcome to Battlezone.
All right. Seems to be working. Come back up. Forward seems a little sluggish. Matter of fact, it don't seem to be going forward. Huh. Now if I press the stick right, it goes left. If I press it left, it goes right. Forward, it went up some. It's going up and down. How are you supposed to go forward? I'll push this. I don't think this is working right. I'm not touching the stick and it's backing up. And I can't go forward. Now if I go to the right, it goes to the right. If I go to the left, it goes to the left. A while ago, it wasn't doing that. All right, well, once I got the jumper on the Redzone board, I got control to my joystick back, both my up and down and right and left. And it worked fine with Red Baron. But when I went into the menu system and tried to scroll through the menu system, I was still having a problem. And when I went into Battlezone or Battlezone 2, I still had a control problem. If I pushed the joystick forward, the tank wouldn't go forward. If I let the joystick come back into the center position, it would sometimes stop, but most of the time it would want to back up all the time. And if I pushed it forward, it would stop. But I didn't have enough travel going forward to make it go forward. So it's like the joystick was still not calibrated. But it worked fine in Red Baron. I later found out, talking with Jason, that Red Baron has an automatic calibration. When you start up the Red Baron game and you move the joystick, it automatically calibrates the joystick to the game. All right, well then I got thinking, I said, well, okay. But since Battlezone and also Omaga Race, you push the joystick forward and the thrust will thrust the ship forward. All right, well I had right and left. I could spin the ship around. Now, Omaga Race, the game uses a, spinner to spin the ship around. So in this version, it has to use the analog joystick. So right and left makes the ship spin right or left. And I think on Omaga Race, you have a button you push for thrust. All right, well, it's supposed to be set up so if you push the joystick forward, you get thrust. Well, it was obvious I wasn't getting that forward thrust. Same as with the tanks on Battlezone, I wasn't getting the forward motion when I pushed the stick forward. So I went into Red Baron and I put it in test mode. And on the test screen, it has two sets of numbers, one on the left, one on the right. The one on the left is for the joystick pot for the right and left, which was working before, and the one on the right was for forward and back, which had a 0 on it before I put the jumper on the Redzone board. Now that I got the jumper on the Redzone board, I now have numbers, and the joystick controls those numbers. So the joystick is working, but if you let it go to the center position, you can see the numbers don't match. The one on the right is a higher number. I think that's the way it is. We'll take a look at it here in a minute. Anyway, the numbers don't match, and if they're centered up, the numbers should match. Now, I don't know if this is due to my particular joystick. When I put the Red Baron together, I rebuilt the joystick with all the new parts I could find. And if we look right here, this is the old joystick part right here that the pots mount on. And I replaced the pots, put two new pots in it, and I replaced this piece right here. This piece right here is rather expensive. They got one on eBay right now for like right around $100, $99, about that. So, but it is one of the white ones, which is supposed to be better quality than the black ones. But at any rate, I replaced this part and I put new joysticks in. So the joysticks were centered, and unless one of these pots, it was supposed to have been a new pot, same brand, same number and everything, unless the pot itself is something wrong with it, maybe it was malfunctioned or wasn't right at the factory when they put it together. I don't know. I think they're 50 ohm pots. And but anyway, so I figured what I had to do was I had to fix that one pot, get it centered so it would match up to the other pot. So how do you do that? Well, I thought I could come in here and loosen up this nut right here and spin the pot to adjust it. Actually mechanically center the pot, since you can't do it in software. But the way this thing mounts right here, see this hole right here? You got a slot that the pot slides down in, but the pot has this little tab right here that sticks out, so that when you put it on, that little tab goes in that hole. All right, get on here. All right, this one's bent a little bit. Let me straighten it up. All right, washer cocked there. Okay. So that little tab goes in the hole, and when you tighten it up, it keeps the pot from spinning. Now, it has a little bit of play. You can wiggle it back and forth. So you can make a little fine adjustment, but this was more than a fine adjustment. So what I decided to do on my joystick in the game, I already did it and I didn't film it. I wish I had have done it now. But what I had to do was take and make this hole a slot. So in other words, I just arced it up both sides because I didn't know which way I had to adjust it. And the way I did that, I took my Dremel and I just Dremeled it. And I did it a little neater than this, but I'm just showing you this just to show you basically what I did. I basically put a kind of a slot in it. So now when I mounted the pot back on the joystick, now I can physically adjust it for more travel. So when I did this, I turned the game on and I put it on Battlezone, and I had the control panel open and I loosened up the nut, and with that slot cut in it, I was able to turn this pot with the joystick in a center position till I got the tank stationary. And then when I got the tank stationary, I sort of centered it to where I had the same amount of travel. I could turn it one direction and it would back up. I could turn it the other direction, it would go forward. So I just kind of put it in the middle, and then I just tightened the pot up in the joystick, and I was good to go. Then I went and tried it, and the game worked fine. Battlezone, Battlezone 2, and Omaga Race, I gained control of the up joystick. So then I went back to Red Baron, and I was hoping that Red Baron would be able to self-calibrate to the new setting I had, the physical setting I had on the joystick. And it did. So now everything works. Red Baron works, Battlezone 2 works, Battlezone works, and Omaga Race works. And the menu system works. I now have proper control of everything. So that was my fix. Now, I don't know if this is because one of my new pots is not right. I didn't check it. I could have pulled it out and checked it to see if it had the same reading as the other one, or I could have swapped the pots if I wanted to. put this pot in this position and this one in this position, but I didn't. So like I say, I don't know if this is just a freak thing with this particular pot that was in my game, or I'm wondering if anybody else had this problem. So if anybody else has had this control problem with your joystick not wanting to go forward or not centering, let me know in the comments. I'm kind of thinking that maybe this is only on my game, because I haven't heard anybody else say anything about it. So that's the route I'm kind of looking at right now. And of course I fixed it by doing this modification here. So hopefully you won't have to do any of this. This is just my case, the way my joystick was, and what I had to do to fix it. Okay, so let's go over to the game, and we'll put it up in test mode in Red Baron, and I'll show you the numbers on the joystick and show you how they match. Okay, let's turn the game on and let it boot up. And should boot up into Red Baron. And that's Red Baron. Okay, let me take you into test mode. And it goes into test mode in Red Baron. And as you can see, the joystick is centered, and I'm getting 129 and 129 on both the right and left joystick pots. So the joystick is centered now, even though I had to manually adjust that one pot. Now they're both centered, and the game works fine in all 4 of the games. It's kind of strange that I had to do that. Maybe it's something wrong with that pot. I don't know. Maybe later on I'll pull it apart and check the pots and see if they're both identical, and who knows. But if anybody else has this problem with the joystick not centering, this is a quick fix. I don't know whether it's something that can be tweaked in the program or not, but if nobody else has the problem and I'm the only one that has the problem, then I guess it's just a problem with my joystick. So no big deal. We got it working. All right, so now that we're in test mode, let's go to the menu setup. And the way you do that, you have to be in test mode. Then you have to push the fire button and the start button at the same time. And it goes into the Redzone configuration. You have, now the joystick is real sensitive on this. I don't know how the Battlezone version is, but the joystick is real touchy and it likes to skip a lot. So bear with me here. Let me know if yours is kind of touchy too, if you have it in a Red Baron. Okay, right now it's on disable games, so if you push the fire button, it goes into the select games. And if you were buying this Redzone board just to replace a Red Baron, or just to replace a Battlezone or an Omaga race, you can select the games that you want and the games you don't want. Okay, but I want all 4 of them here, so see what I mean about it's kind of hard to scroll through the menu here. It's real sensitive. All right, let's see. Let's go down to select start game. Also, if you have this in a Red Baron like I do, you hit this menu option, and as you can see, I have Red Baron checked. That means that the game will always boot up in Red Baron. I did that because it's in a Red Baron cabinet. If you have a Battlezone, you can set it to come on in Battlezone all the time, or Omaga Race, or Battlezone 2 if that's what you prefer. But like I say, mine is in a Red Baron cabinet, so I always like to have it start up in the cabinet with the game that's in the cabinet. Okay. Then you have game settings. Now, at the current time, we only have Omega Race, Battlezone, and Red Baron game settings. Battlezone 2 doesn't have any user options right now. Now, in the future, I think they're going to try to add difficulty levels, and also they're going to try to, right now it's set up for free play only. I think they're going to try to set it up so that you can use the coin slots if you want to use the coin slots. That's a feature that I'm interested in, because in my little arcade here, I like to have everything on tokens or quarters. I have HAP 25-cent 984 token coin acceptors in my games, so I like to use tokens. But, you know, until they get that done, free play works. So anyway, game settings. Let's go into Omega Race. All right, Omega Race, you can set the bonus points for the first ship, the second, third bonus ship. You can set ships per credit, coins. I got it set for 1 coin, 1 credit. Or you can set it for free play. And you also have cocktail table mode if you put this in a cocktail. Then you have to go down here and you can save it or cancel. We'll just save it. All right, now Battlezone is set up right now for 5 tanks, but you can change that. Missile appears after 30,000 points. You can change that. Bonus tank at whatever points. Language, I got it set for English. Play cost, I got it set for 1 coin, 1 play. And then you got your coin mechs. Bonus coins, I got that set for no. I think that's default. Then you got coin counter options. Now this is the only thing in Red Baron. Red Baron has the machine gun bezel. And the machine gun bezel covers part of the screen, bottom of the screen on both the left and the right. So it hides part of the menu. The save is behind the machine gun. So, yeah, that can be a problem, but it's not a big problem. Then we can go into Red Baron setup. Same thing. You can set the language, the bonus, granted for the airplanes, extra planes, how many airplanes you start per game is set for 2 right now. I'm not sure what the play minimum is. It's set for 1. Self-adjust game feature is set on right now. This feature is also on the original game, and it's made to where when you play the game, it learns how you play the game, and it adjusts the difficulty level as you go. What it does, it tries to eliminate the time that somebody can play the game. So it's supposed to get harder the farther you get on the game. All right, you can set the cost. I got it set for 1 coin, 1 play. And of course you can set up the right and center coin mechs. I got it for ×1. Because I just use 1 token for 1 play. Bonus coins is set for no. Coin counter options. And then again, the save is behind the machine gun there. So, and that's it. We'll go back to the configuration. System settings. That one is just for if you have this in a Battlezone. You can invert the screen, because the Battlezone cabinet with the scope has a mirror in it so that the image is backwards. So that's where you set that. And of course this is Red Baron, so it's set for off because there's no mirror in this. Calibration, it's my understanding that that's not used. I don't know why it's there. I don't know if it's going to be something that's going to be used in the future. It just might have been put in there when they were working on the game. I don't know, but it's still there, and from what I understand, right now it's not used. You got your test inputs and your test outputs. That's just what they say. If you want to test the joystick or the switches or whatever. Then you got the screen test. It just puts up a box with a big X in the middle so that you can use the 4 pots on the Redzone board to center up and align the screen. So I guess this is useful, but you could probably fine-tune it like in Battlezone, I think, because it has different colors on the overlay. You know, you might want to be able to fine-tune it and shift it to the overlay. But I don't have a Battlezone, so I wouldn't know. So, all right. Then you got factory reset. I guess that sets all the options back to the factory reset. I don't know. I haven't tried it. I'm not going to try it. Then this is credits. The hardware, Arcade Jason, of course. Software, Ralph Kornman. And Battlezone 2 by Antics. My understanding, that's like a name that this guy goes by. He doesn't want to be known or whatever. So that's what he goes by, and that's who's responsible for the Battlezone 2. At least that's my understanding. Okay. Then we got the back button, which takes you to Battlezone 2. Now, why it takes you to Battlezone 2, I don't know. But it does. So, because this is Red Baron, I'm just going to do a short little gameplay of each game. So first, I'm going to go ahead and the way you switch to games is by pressing the fire and the start button at the same time. So let's go back to Red Baron. First we got to take it out of test mode. Take it out of test mode. And here's Red Baron. All right, let me put a credit on it. And let's play a game of Red Baron. And I do have the original game board, and I really don't see any difference. I'm sure somebody's going to say, yeah, it plays different, but to be honest with you, there may be a little difference in the sound of the machine gun, but everything else seems pretty straight on. If there's any difference in the gameplay, I haven't noticed it. I'll say that much. So, of course, I guess a purist will be able to say there is a difference. I don't know. But I can put the original board back in and I can play it, and to me it's the same. So. Okay. I'm not going to play through the whole game. I'm going to do another series after this, and I'm going to take each game individually and play some games. So I'll revisit each one of these games in a little more depth. So let me put my high score in here. Now, that was a problem. Red Baron was only saving one top high score. I got in contact and I showed Arcade Jason, and he said MAME was doing the same thing, and that was normal for MAME. Well, Ralph went in and adjusted the program so that it would do the same thing that the original hardware would do, which is save all three high scores. So now with the latest update, in which actually I don't have the latest update, I have a test update before the latest update, so I'm going to have to update the game here one more time. I think I have version 1.7, and I think they're up to 1.8 or something like that. So anyway, the fix that I have now, it saves all three high scores like it's supposed to. Okay, so let's push the fire button and the start button. And now we go to Battlezone 2. And I'll just let the intro finish going here. Okay, this one right now is set up for free play. So let me hit the start button.
Welcome to Battlezone.
I like that. This is a neat game. I see the missiles right there. You run into that, and I just picked up 5 rockets. And this one you have shields. I love those rockets. You can pick up extra shields sometimes when they drop shields. You can pick up rapid fire bullets. The main thing you got to look out for is those square areas right there. That's a landmine. You run over one of them, your history. Okay, more rockets. And I like the rockets, they're homing rockets. You don't have to line up on them. As long as you got them on the screen, you hit the button. Unless they're hiding behind an object, you're going to blow them up. And like I say, the main thing you got to look out for is the landmines. Now they're supposed to add difficulty levels to this. Right now it's fairly easy, and if you're good at it, you can play this game for a long time. It's kind of a marathon game. But they will gang up on you, and if they gang up on you and you get in trouble, you can hit the start button, and it's sort of like an escape. And it sets you up in another place. I like blowing up that little Jeep, this little horn that beeps. Okay, all right, we can go on and on with this game. So let's go to the next game. I'm gonna hit the fire button and start button. Now this is Omaga Race. Now this game, the original game uses a spinner to turn the ship, and I think a button for the fire button. But of course you have to do it with the joystick, and of course the fire button is on top of the joystick, and you move the joystick right and left to rotate the ship, and you push it forward for thrust. And it actually works pretty good. It's takes a little getting used to, and because of the machine guns on the bezel on the right and left at the bottom of the screen, it does hide part of the track, I guess you'd call it a track, that goes around the center of the playfield. So it makes it rather difficult to play when the enemy is down behind the machine guns because you can't see them. But I kind of like to work around that. So anyway, let me add a credit and let's start a game. And the joystick moves the ship, press it forward, and I like to try to bounce my way around here. And do it just like that. Like I say, it takes a little getting used to, and it's a little hard to aim. Oh no, down in no man's land. He got me because I couldn't see. But it's still a fun game, and I'm sure this will be even better on a Battlezone because, like I say, you won't have the obstruction of the machine gun bezel. But I'm not getting rid of my machine gun bezel just to play this game. Okay, that's enough of that. It does save the top high score, one high score. It doesn't save the daily high scores. So that's just like the original game. All right, let's press the fire button and the start button. And this is regular Battlezone, okay? Now, I hadn't played Battlezone in years until I got to Redzone. And I used to love to play it in the arcade, but like I say, it's been a long time. And I don't know how true this version is to the original. Like Battlezone 2, with the joystick, it plays real nice. It controls real good with the joystick. So that part of it is pretty good. It's still a little hard to line up on the tanks. You have to be more accurate, you know, with this. But like I say, let me put a credit in and let's play a real quick game. And as far as I know, it plays just like the original. I used to have the same trouble with the original. Not getting things to line up on target. And see, he blows you up before you can get him homed in. I guess the secret is to shoot and move. I hate it when he moves like that. Well, at least when you're behind that, he's not going to be able to shoot you. Oh, line up. Oh, he's got me. Like I say, if anybody has the real Battlezone and it has the Redzone, how close is this to the original? What's your opinion? Let me know in the comments. To me, it plays just like the real one. It's just that you don't have the cool two joysticks. But I can live with that. Like I say, it makes a pretty good translation to the single stick. All right, got a high score. Okay, let's switch games again. Fire button and start button. And we're back to Red Baron. Okay, well, what's my opinion of the Redzone? Well, I like it. I think it's worth every penny. I like being able to play Battlezone and Battlezone 2 and Omega Race in my Red Baron cabinet. Am I going to leave it in this game for the time being? I may decide to build a cabinet and put it in a dedicated cabinet. I don't know yet. That's a possibility, but I would have to figure out whether I wanted to use a single joystick like I got on Red Baron, or if I wanted to use the 2 joysticks like Battlezone. Problem is, both the Red Baron joystick, the analog stick, and the Battlezone sticks are rather pricey and getting hard to find. So, you know, unless you could get some type of alternative control for it, it would, either way you do it would be kind of pricey. But getting a Battlezone cabinet around here is not an option. It took me, you know, 20 plus years to find this Red Baron cabinet. So they're just few and far and in between in my area. And the time you find one somewhere and you pay for it and then you pay for shipping, well, it's kind of cost prohibitive. So anyway, I highly recommend, if you have a Red Baron or a Battlezone, I highly recommend the Redzone. I don't think you can go wrong with it. One thing, when you're using it, it saves wear and tear on your original board set. And in my opinion, it's pretty doggone close to the original. If it's not, even if you can, if there is a slight difference. So yeah, I give it 2 thumbs up. Good job, guys. So that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think of it. If you got a Battlezone and you got a Redzone in the Battlezone, let me know how the controls work for the for Red Baron. I would think that would probably be a little hard to get used to if I understand how that works. Maybe I don't understand exactly how that works, but I would think you'd have to have one stick control up and down and the other stick would control right and left, but both sticks would be kind of like an up and down because you don't have a stick on Battlezone that goes right and left. So unless you, it's like the tank, you know, you push one stick forward and one back. No, I don't know how that would work either. So anyway, let me know in the comments how it works, the control for Red Baron on a Battlezone. Okay, well, that's going to be it. This has just been another arcade fix. Have you had your arcade fix today?